Well, China analyst Einar Tangen joins us now from Beijing. Einar, good to have you on the program with us again. Can you explain to us how big the tutoring industry is in China and why is there so much pressure on parents to provide this for their children?
Well, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and what you have is, unfortunately, a situation where people are keeping up with each other. You have a larger class sizes. The students, in some cases, do struggle, and they seek aid. But there, in other instances, what you have, people who have the money, the wherewithal. There's a certain amount of economic disparity. They can, afford the best tutors, and that creates a very competitive environment, which is loaded based on how much money you have. There's also concern, as was echoed in this previously, that some of the services being offered are not of the kind of quality that you want children to have. And the last and most important part is that the government is moving to create a more balanced system. They do not want children to be stuck indoors, literally studying from 8 o'clock in the morning until, 10 o'clock at night before they go to bed. They want them to have exercise and also, enjoy some part of their childhood.
So why is Beijing making this crackdown now?
Well, I think part of it is because of the 100 years. There's a real concern about social issues. You'll note that they have put together, this anti-poverty push to get rid of extreme poverty. There is this real feeling that you don't want things to kind of get away. I mean, this is not the only area they're doing it. The Bitcoin, they just basically shut that down. And the government is moving to create this quite kind of balanced society. They've even set up a zone which is dedicated to creating a more modest living environment with goals that match what they think are a sustainable society. Now, people should not get the impression that the government is trying to shut down tutorials. What is going to be allowed is enrichment programs that allow children to have other interests and develop other areas. They just don't want these kids to be stuck in a situation where they go to school and then they go home and they have to learn things over again, or they're being overly competitive, or, as I said, giving advantage to some over others.
I wonder what kind of impact or what kind of reaction there is in China to this. I mean, how do parents feel about this? Because I know there is a lot of pressure for children to be able to keep up in school because parents put a lot of pressure on them to do well in school so that they can earn more money later in life and then take care of their parents. So I'm wondering how people actually are feeling about this.
Well, I mean, there's mixed reactions. I mean, some parents have just indicated that they're somewhat relieved keeping up with the Joneses, or in this place, the Chens next door, who are putting, all of their money into it. And it's a real burden. I mean, right now, many parents are saying, look, I would love to have another child, except it's cost prohibitive. The central government has relaxed the number of children that people can have. It's now up to 3. There might be even more relaxation of that, but that depends on having an environment where kids can, to a certain extent, be kids. I'm sure, when you were younger, you did have free time. Right now, it's very, very precious and very little. I think they're looking very carefully at what happened in South Korea, or continues to happen there, and in Japan, where you have these, just almost grinding childhoods where people are, basically absorbing knowledge, spewing it out on the exam, but not necessarily getting a comprehensive education in the way that they can use that information.
And as you said, I know China is hoping that this will encourage people to have more children because the money that they might likely spend on a tutor, they could spend on having another child. And I was there in China when they first eased the one-child policy to allow for a second child, and there was not the baby boom that was expected. Do you think that this will actually work? Because other incentives China has provided for people to have other children so far haven't seemed to work.
No, I don't think that this is something where the government can dictate social policy, and I don't think they intend to. It's not like you have a baby for the country. They're trying to make it easier for those who do want to have more children to do so, and that'll be a matter of choice. So At this point, it's a lot about cost, but I mean, there's so many other issues involved. People don't really understand that, most departments, I think you do, Rachel, are not geared to have 3 children. You'd need another, 100 square meters or 50 square meters to accommodate a much larger family. In many instances, the grandparents are living with the family. There might be two, at most 3 bedrooms. So with 3 kids, grandparents and parents, that gets a bit crowded. So it's not just the cost. It's where would you live, how, and of course it would cost more money. But you might have to live further away from where you want to or where you're working in order to find what will in essence have to be new housing and hopefully affordable ones so that they can actually accommodate all these people.
All right, let's leave it there. Einar Tangen in Beijing. Thank you.